Okay, thank you again for your time. Yeah, I can actually allow. Oh, chat is disabled. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, I have already changed the chat setting. Everyone should be able to type in. Okay, let's have this a bit more engaging. I have put, I think, all you guys as able to speak as well. So yes, feel free to raise your hand if you want to, or if you have any burning questions. Okay, let's start the seminar. We are 7:04 today. We keep it to a maximum of 2 hours. Thank you again for your time. Okay, and thank you for joining on time. Okay, so over here, I'll just do a very quick introduction of what Yellow does, and I will have Jeff coming in shortly to actually explain a little bit more on what we offer and also how can we help in terms of getting you guys to be also financial free down the years. Okay, so point number one, what we are expecting to actually learn will be point one, 10 years, how do we actually look for retirement within 10 years time? Okay, it can be shorter if we actually have certain of the funds, or if we can actually look at how can we use like angel investors, or how can we actually use creative finance a solution to actually increase the proposition of buying more properties at one go. Okay. The second one is where do we actually invest in, and why do we invest in certain area, especially in 2025, and also how can we get the best return based on today day and age. Okay. Next is really how do we buy property if we were not to buy in Singapore, where can we actually buy remotely, and what do we need to do in terms of aspect, and how can we do it remotely, not requiring to actually fly down to actually buy the property. Okay, then we will bring you some case study and some blueprint as well on the 7 steps. What do we do? And lastly, stay on until the end. You will get your investment consultation call if you need any, and you can scan through the QR code later. Okay, meanwhile, we invite all to actually join our mailing list to actually access our latest deals and also our market insights. Okay, so a very quick housekeeping over here. If, please leverage on the Q&A function. There's also a chat function. Any questions, please put it in the Q&A. That allows us to track and any other items. I will be looking at the chat frequently to actually see what else we need to or anything to address on. Or else raise of hands, after which we can allow you to speak. I'll allow all to speak as well. So in case you need to, yeah, I'll just keep yourself mute for the time moment. Okay, raise your hand if you need to speak as well. I will allow this function. I have already allowed this function. Okay, disclaimer again, this is actually in terms of legal tax investment advisors, it is not anything of an advice that we are given basing on MAS rules and regulations. So we give you in terms of all the gross rental profit incomes or whichever, these are all values that you require to do any comparison with any similar properties also. So please take it, this is a disclaimer, slides that we have to present as well. Okay. So what we'll be covering today, I will introduce myself a little bit more first before I jump it across to Jeffrey, and I will allow him to come in shortly. Okay. Jeff should be online now. Okay. So what we'll cover today will be more of the topics introduction, and I'll give a little bit on why properties. Okay. Then we'll give a little bit of track record where Jeff has his track record. 10 in 10 is what do we explain in 10 in 10? So 10 properties in 10 years, and how do we achieve it? Okay, and the differences between properties and stocks, and how can we leverage on properties or diversify in case you guys has already been investing in stocks. Okay, then how do we achieve financial freedom? Uh, Next will be more to a promotional offer. And if you join us today, I'll share a little of my story now, probably. Then I'll move on with a little bit of the promo offer, and then we can wrap up and any Q&A. Okay. Okay, so meanwhile, you may follow us on social media in terms of the link below. This is where Jeff and Josh E&O property investment is. This is basically you can find this on YouTube, and we regularly update these YouTube videos as well. So please follow us on social medias, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or even our landing page. Yeah. So, why the success or why the need? So there's basically in three kinds of, I would say, why in terms of successing. Okay. So the question is, why do you invest? Why do you even start but to invest in properties, stocks or whichever? There must be definitely a why behind the reason. So the why must be big enough in order for you to actually move and take massive action. Okay, then why property and why eventually E&O? So ultimately, I'll allow Jeff to share later on why he chose property or why we choose property over stocks, or why do we in fact invest in both. We are not saying that stocks isn't good, but look at how can we diversify our risk. And when we have bad years like 2022, we actually still can get returns pretty well in terms of profitability. So if you look at the 2021 when stock prices or in the years itself, stock actually crashes, then it recover a little or recover quite a bit as well. Then after which 2021 was okay, and 2022 it crashes all over again until 2023, where it got stagnant quite a bit until last year it started increasing again, and this year was again another boom. Okay, so why property? In fact, this allow us to actually diversify risk. Yeah. Okay, and lastly, why E&O? So there is many platforms or many other, I will say, groups out there, and ultimately, why E&O will be a very important aspect. What kind of proposition we can actually offer to you, and in the slides later, we'll actually share a little bit more. Because ultimately, this is not just another company that just give you sourcing and give you educational solution also, but eventually we give you a end-to-end solution from start till the end. From the start, where you actually engage us, we get you through the educational aspect, bring you up to speed. Then next, we bring you up to the next session where we actually bring deals or the right deals to you guys. Of course, deals that we going through us will definitely have the right calculation and the right numbers and the right location before we start even sending out deals. Deals that does not pass our criteria, we will not even send it out to you guys. Once we get deals out to you guys, it's about how whether you guys are willing to take a look at the deals, work out the numbers, and eventually step on it and take action. After which we will go on further on with all the supports with AML check, with all the supports, getting our power team to actually share with you how do we actually do it and how do we engage legals, mortgage, da da da. After which, once the keys exchange, you receive the keys. We even support you guys all the way to the lettings until the first bit of the renter comes into your account. Then we continue getting the rentals for you guys until one day if you have intention to sell it or keeping the cash flow. Okay. So without further ado, I think I will just pass you over to Jeff as well, to explain a little bit more on why invest and the rest of the topics. Yeah. Jeff, over to you.
Okay, hi. Can you guys hear me clearly? If yes, put a thumbs up in the chat. Can you hear me? Or put a Y? Okay. Uh, maybe have a show of hands. How many of you are overseas? Where are you from? We want to write down type out the place that you are in. Type out what city you're from. It changes the way I will present to make it more international. Otherwise, Singaporean context you may not understand. We are very flexible. Bahrain. How about the rest? Stefan from Germany, long time Hong Kong, now in Thailand. Any others? UK, UK is and Tamara, Singaporean. Okay. Uh, Anybody that is overseas, Tamara looks like overseas as well. Now I would explain that why we have to attack the reason why we are here, right? And the fact is that all of you, how many of you are sick and tired of your job? Or you want to spend more time with your loved ones and you want to go for a break and do the things that you want to do? Say yes. If you say yes, then it will help you. The universe will give you an answer. If you keep quiet, then there won't be. How many of you want to quit your job and be financially free? Only one. So the rest are not keen to do. Uh, right. So basically, we go through the needs, Maslow read needs. Okay, here's the thing. That's great. So if even if you like what you do, right, do you want to have time to spend with your family and control your own time and do whatever you want, that you don't have to take leave and all that? So what I'm saying is that we are all probably reaching that self-esteem and self-actualization stage. All right. That means that the reason why it is you must be very determined to achieve that level. So why we are all here for is to find ways to get to be financially free. Yeah. Next slide, please, Eugene. Okay. So there is a vision board that you can put into your yourself, or that you can put into your laptop, your room, your house, and then look at it and decide what are the kind of lifestyle that you want to lead. Whether you want to the kids, the house, the car that you want, the health that you have. What visualize yourself? What will you be? Okay, in 5, 10 years time. If you don't have a vision, the problem is that when you don't have a vision, have you ever heard of the word that the ship that doesn't know where it's going ends up nowhere? So, just the worst thing that you can do in life is not knowing what you want to be. And the earlier you realize what you want to be, the better you are because the ship will start to sail in that direction that you want. And the problem, there are some people, even at 35 years old, still don't know what they want to do. Then the ship will sail to a direction that you don't want to be in. And then when you start turning around, you realize, hey man, I'm making another detour. So our life is very short. You don't want too many detours in life. The best people are the ones that really know what they want at the start. Okay, so here's the why. So next slide, please. So the cure to to whatever you want to achieve in life is always to look for a role model that has already been there and done that. Okay. It can be your neighbor, it can be your friend, it can be someone that you know and that you notice that they are very happy. It's not just about money, it can be that he's very happy, he's very in control, and he goes for long holidays, or he happens to do the thing that he loves. So what happened for me, I will look for people who I want to be a successful investor. My role model has always been Warren Buffett. Why? It's the best job in the world. Okay, I don't like to wake up and then I have to scrub the floor, call the client. I have to keep looking for deals. Oh, if there's no deal, then oh no, where's my next dollar coming from? That is not the worst thing that I could have. So Warren Buffett has permanent capital. That's what. So I started at the age of 30 plus. I started looking for people that actually have been there and done that, whether they are fund manager or they are a property investor. So I happen to chance upon property first. So these are teachers, school teachers in UK. They started in 1995. They bought 1,000 properties. 1,000. All right. And they were doing it while they were teaching. And finally, they quit in 2015. They sold away the property. Today, they are worth over 100 million, 140 million pounds. Okay. So what does that tell you? Fantastic, right? This is what you want to achieve. And they became a role model. Now, part two, what do you want to what you want to do is that when you see role models like this, identify them, reach out to them, and if you cannot reach out to them, read everything that you want to find out about them. What they do, what they eat, what they do, how do they get started. Study biography. And then ask yourself, can you visualize like you being that person one day? So this is one of the things that you got to take note of. So anyway, obviously they retire 140 million pounds. Now, next slide, please. Okay, so then let's talk about property. Now, we assume we just want to achieve abundance. I use the word abundance because to money to a lot of people is different things. Money could mean freedom. Some people just love to collect money and count it every day. Some people like freedom. Some people think that they want to do charity. So let's not sound like Gordon Gekko in Wall Street. So it's just abundance. Now, the common objection of real estate is that there's high starting capital. Now, it is true if you are in Singapore because a house is $1 million. I think I got Singaporeans here, right? But if you go outside of Singapore, okay, or you buy within a company, you can buy a lot of properties. But first thing, number one, you need to have the knowledge first. Okay, if you don't have knowledge, I tell you, with knowledge, no knowledge and with money is one of the worst thing. Have you ever heard of people, children that inherited money from their parents suddenly and they don't know what to do with it? Sooner or later, they lose 90%. So knowledge to invest is very important. If you don't have knowledge, it's damn irresponsible. Number two, once you are knowledgeable, people will identify you as you also need to be credible and to have integrity. Again, my role model is someone like Warren Buffett. Sadly, he wrote his last farewell letter for Berkshire. And he always said, what did he say? One of the things he tell his companies that he invested in, don't wait for the press to write something about you that is so bad, okay, that you will be so embarrassed. Behave every day as if the press is going to write about you the next day. How will you want your obituary to be written? So credibility is important. Once you are knowledgeable and then you are credible, the people you will find that you will attract a lot of people coming to you, invest money with you. They will give you the money to invest or to teach them. So then number three, I I strive by these first two principles, and people generally do come to me for guidance and to invest money. And that's why today I'm a fund manager, and also I've got a lot of help to build my real estate portfolio. Actually, relatives lend me money, So do proper legal documentation. Always ask yourself, what can go wrong? I'm not asking you to be negative in life. I can tell you that for me, I always hope for the best, but I prepare for the worst. That's Boy Scout. That's a Boy Scout theory, right? Always ask myself what can go wrong. Okay, I want to first I visualize the best outcome. After that, I think what can possibly kill me. It's like Charlie Munger reverse engineer. What can you, then how do I not get there? So proper legal documentation is very important, right? You don't want people to turn around, oh, you said that you're going to pay me back that 12%, but you only pay me back 6%. I thought you can pay me back within a year. Now it's 5 years. You don't want any misunderstanding. And once you have credibility, people will keep giving you the money. Oh, please continue to invest for me. So be legal, fit the stick to all the, don't go and contravene any lawsuits or get into lawsuits. Now, even with 30, 40,000, you can do joint venture partnership with friends. 50K to 100K, you can have, of course, the fewer partners, the better in life. Okay, one or two is good enough, three. But if you got less money, you have to pull more people. And then point number five, you got more money, you can go alone or have one or two partners only. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, so next. So what's the difference? How many of you buy stocks and you're doing very well? This is last 3 years has been amazing for stocks, right? Amazing. Suddenly everyone become Warren Buffett. and show off their bank account. Anybody? Buy a lot of stocks? No. Okay, the more you ask question, the better it is. I strongly encourage you to participate, turn on your video, engage with me so that we can the universe like that. The more you engage, the more you get out of the meeting. Okay, there's no stupid question. We welcome you. If you turn on the video, it's even better. All right, be more engaging. Now, the difference between stocks and property is that stocks are great. It's very liquid. If you make 50% in 2 years, your return is 50%, right? Annually is 20%. However, with property is even worse. If you cannot mortgage, everybody always ask me, Bali property, can I buy Bali? Can I buy Thailand? Can I buy Japan, right? How many of you bought Bali? Bali. Anybody? Nobody. Okay, so if you buy in a country like Japan, can you take a mortgage? You can't. So I'm trying to show you in this part two, the lower part, middle of the presentation, is that if you do not leverage the taxes, the transaction cost of property is very high. Your return is very poor. So you might as well buy stocks. Honestly, I'm very objective to you. Don't waste your time buying full cash for property. You cannot beat stocks. You know, Japan this year, I think EWJ ETF today is up 20-30%. Why you waste time? So the beauty of property is if you buy four properties using leverage, $1 million can buy four properties and achieve 3.72 million of value, almost 4x your asset, and you control 100%. 50% return means 5.58 million of assets minus off your mortgage is 2.79 million. So you achieve 179% return. You are better off than stocks if you leverage safely. Okay. So now you understand, right? Next slide, please. Okay. So the other difference between property and stocks is that with stocks, you can, what do you call that? Manufacture capital gains. If you stay in landed properties, you could refurbish the property. What are the things that will cause your property value to shoot up? The kitchen, the toilet needs to be nice. People come in and look at kitchen and toilet. If you have a house, a landed property, you need land to expand the building. You need a garage, you need conservatory, you need something or build one floor higher. You can manufacture. Whereas a stock, you can't. You can't buy Apple share and then go to AGM. Can you do this? Can you do that? Nobody listens to you unless you have billions of dollars owning more than 5% of Apple share. Properties do not fluctuate a lot. Okay. In 2008, property price fell 30% in the US. The S&P 500 fell 56%. Okay, so in 2020, S&P fell 36%, property price didn't drop at all. So there lies a huge difference. Interest rates. So property is related to interest rates in a way, and not all the time, but interest rate goes down, property price go up in general. Okay, but of course the economy must be doing well. So you can, and when the rates go up, go down, you can extract money for to buy another property. So the other thing, of course, you can use other people's money, OPM. Okay. In For stocks, if you manage for others, you better have licensing because it's a regulated activity in most countries, the UK and whatsoever. Now, that doesn't mean stocks is no good, in a sense that the stock market doesn't make sense in the short term, right? It's crazy. It's like a crazy person that is psycho mood swings. And you can buy Amazon at 50% discount one day just because the CEO says something wrong. And you have to take advantage of it to buy it when it's low and then rebound. Okay, when the stock goes up. Now, for property, it's very hard to get that instant feedback. You hardly get a property that comes down so much. Okay. So it's a lot harder to get the bargain. However, properties are called heterogeneous. I'm going to put in the chat group heterogeneous. Now, the word heterogeneous is not like stock. If you buy a stock, one stock If I buy a stock, Josh buy an Apple, I buy an Apple share, Eugene buy an Apple share, it's the same. There's no difference. All got one voting right, one share, one vote. But for property, you notice there's never two properties the same. It's heterogeneous. Even in a condominium where one looks out to the dustbin, another look out at the car park, another one is a higher floor overlooking the sea. There's a different valuation. For houses, it's like that. Some are corner terraces, some are semi-detached, some are detached. And the condition of the house can be drastically different. Some of them, the pipes need to be changed, the sewer pipes, they are so old. Some houses, people have died on it. So what do? There's going to be a discount. So property, the way to take advantage is to look at things that are temporarily unwanted. I repeat the word temporarily unwanted and disliked, and then you buy it. You're never going to get a 50% discount. Okay, like a stock. Next slide, please. Now, next slide. Okay, so I measured the returns of stocks and property. Now, the lowest line is when you buy a yellow color line here, is where you buy a property. You started $1 million in 2004. 20 years later, you end up 2.554 million. That's 2.5 times. And the return on average is about 4 to 5% return, 4% return per year. That is if you live in it and you don't borrow money against it. The second one is where you have a little bit of leverage and then you 50% LTV, but then you don't rent. You achieve about 8% return. That means you live in it like most of us with a mortgage. Yeah, 8% return, is it good? Okay, if you need to live in a house, you have to do it. You're not going to collect rental unless you have a tenant, but it's not great. Okay, that's why Robert Kiyosaki said that your home is actually not your asset, it's a liability. Now, the next one is S&P 500. Do you know that you put in 1 million, you have been 7.4 million today? Average return about 11.8%, including dividend. Okay, so I'm telling you there are many choices in life. I want to tell you very clearly. Now, the next thing is what if you do a 50% leverage with LTV with a loan, with a rental income? You achieve about 15 to 18% return. Now, just by collecting rents and doing 50% LTV, you already are beating the S&P. Then what if you do 75%, the top line, 75% LTV, and with a rent, you achieve 25% return. So like I said, in the end, right, then your next question, but Jeff, what if I lose my job? I can't afford. What if the rental cannot cover? Uh-huh. So what do you do? Next slide, please. So we know that in Singapore, there is this thing called the asset progression. Asset progression in for Singaporeans, it means that you start off with a government apartment flat. They call it BTO, buy to order. In Singapore, it's unique. The government subsidizes so much that your first flat is always very cheap. It's like 400,000 US. And then when you at the end of the minimum occupation period, you sell it, usually it's about 800,000 US. You make your first 400,000, but the moment you get married, then you upgrade to a condominium, but and then after that finally landed. The problem is your loan get bigger and bigger, right? Your mortgage was, so what if by the time you're 65, hopefully you got two landed, okay? Uh, each one is about $8 million. The landed in Singapore is very expensive. Houses, and then you sell one landed and then take the money and then pay down the loan. Then you live in it. Hopefully you got extra cash. By the time you're 65, so why do you want to do this? I can't wait till I'm 65, then enjoy life. Will you be fit? The next slide, please. Eugene. Now, the other way is to do the B4R strategy. B4R stands for buy, refurb, refurbish or renovate, uh, and then uh, renovate and then rent it out, and then refinance or remortgage to take out money when the valuation has gone up. That's why you need to add value and recycle the money and buy more. And this is how I got started. I did asset progression in Singapore. Each person is allowed to only buy one property. After that, I started to buy more and more in the UK. And the other country that's suitable is US. They allow foreigners to buy multiple properties, single family homes. So from one property, every 2, 3 years, if you remortgage, it goes by the time year 10, you should be comfortable. It's a 10-year journey, but you must work on it. You must work at it. And the other question that you must ask, but then this is very dangerous, right? Because I'm leveraging. Yes, it is if you don't know what you're doing. So you must always buy in countries or cities where they allow you a mortgage, where the rental covers your mortgage more than covers, so they got some excess money. And then you can live easy. And also the rental demand is very high. And there's a solution to that. Next slide, please. So then the next thing someone will ask me is that what about buying REITs? Well, I can tell you that REITs the problem with REITs is that uh it is it is the REITs is only giving about 8 to 10% return. Now, if you are tired, you're lazy, you don't want to get a mortgage whatsoever, yes, you're already 75 and then there's no one else that you want to do a joint venture with. REITs is fine. You on average you're showing 7 to 10%. Okay. And you know the problem with REITs, and I've dealt with REITs before. The problem with REITs is what? A lot of Singaporeans and in some European countries, they thought that paying a high dividend is a good signal. My problem is this. A company that pays you 90% of the rental income as dividends, what's the problem with this company? Does it have any cash left over to do a makeover of the property? No. So every 5 years, because the REITs has given you all the money out, 90% of it, every 3 to 5 years, they're going to come back and ask you to pay back through rights issue, and then they will dilute you. There lies the problem. So don't get fixated with companies that pay dividend. I want to tell you, high dividend paying companies generally have a problem. Let me tell you the next danger of high dividend. If a company like DBS, they don't pay you much dividend, they pay about 30 to 40% of their net profit in dividend. But what if they DBS start to pay you 70%? And one day DBS need to reinvest into cyber security because there's a lot of hacking. They cannot pay you the cash anymore. So once they signal that, oh, I'm going to cut my dividend, you know what will happen to the share price? It will collapse. So once you signal a very high dividend, you're stuck. It's like you cannot go back, you can't go back on your words and ever say, oh, this year, dear investors, I have to cut down your dividend because don't worry, because the share price is very cheap, I'm going to buy back my own shares. I'm not going to pay you dividend, or I'm going to reinvest it to cybersecurity and invest in AI. So sorry, I can't do it. High dividend is a huge, huge red flag, a problem with me. In fact, I'm very worried about all this because they don't hold any reserves. All right, so next slide, please. Okay, so E&O. Who am I? You can go to LinkedIn and look at me. I used to be a sell side. I've done almost everything in the financial industry. Okay, I've been a sell side analyst. I covered Chinese companies listed in Singapore. I've covered Singapore companies. I've covered Japan listed companies. I've done some M&As, and after that, I did corporate banking where I lend money to real estate. So I know real estate very well. Syndication means 4 or 5 banks club together. You call it a club deal to lend. Uh, so I have intimate knowledge, and for 15 years, I serve in the wealth management and investment advisory function. I cover topics like hedge funds, unit trust, bonds, equities, forex. So, yeah, so you can ask me about almost anything about financial products, I would know them. So, right now I have a portfolio of properties around the world. I also have a JV team that we have delivered several projects. So, over 10 million of real estate assets and 5 million of stocks ETF. So, in case you think that I did not study much, I studied Chartered Financial Analyst, CFA, and the Chartered Alternative Investment Analyst. Next slide, please, Eugene. So, okay, you have question, you can ask. Every 10 slides, I will stop and answer them. Now, important advice, before you pay for courses, make sure the trainer has done it. I know that in Asia, you have this pattern of walking into a hotel and to look for properties. Now, generally, the trainer needs to be an investor. There's a difference between buy side and sell side. And a property agent is a seller, is a sell side. He makes nothing if you don't buy or sell something. A trainer needs to be on the buy side, is on your side, is looking after you. And the trainer needs to have a track record of doing well himself, not from selling courses. So otherwise, follow the historical predictions. You can watch a YouTube and see whether, oh, he's right or not. We do have a YouTube channel. And how does a trainer earn the money? This third point is very important, because you can go for free previews and listen, and then they claim to teach you. But at the end of the day, they will sell you a property that they need to make money out of. Then you need to know how much. There's nothing wrong with earning money, absolutely nothing wrong. The question is that whatever you buy, the property, is most of their money coming from that commission, and how big is the commission? 3 to 4% commission, for properties, 2 to 3% commission is good, is okay, is acceptable, but some of the new built apartments commission can be 10%. Then is that fair? It comes off from your pocket, and when you buy the property, is above the market value already. So can you sell it? And so there is also another problem. So next slide, please, Eugene. So if you the consequence of joining the wrong course is that if you try to DIY, you end up doing the following: you buy the wrong property. Okay, in the end, if you check the country's website, you buy something that is 600,000 US. Actually, foreigners are buying at 600,000. The locals are buying at 400,000. Oh my God, what do you do? Number two, immediately after you buy, you apply for a mortgage, and the bank tell you, and that happens in Australia and UK and many countries, that they say that, hey, in Philippines, hey, I'm sorry, the bank promised you a 70% loan, but we can't match the valuation. You have to be marked down by 30%. Well, take 5 years to break even, or forever you can't break even. So the other thing, number three, is that most people think that, 2 houses are enough to retire, which is not true. You need at least 7 properties. Because when you retire or you want to call it quits, you sell away half 4 properties to pay down the loan of the remaining three, so that you can live on 2 rental income, and then you live in one. You need 7. And then some people are buying commercial properties with short leases, 30 years, 20 years. I mean, who's going to buy from you with 20 years left? The only people that are willing to buy from you are the industrial tenants. And what makes you think that the tenant must buy from you? He can buy across the corridor and buy some from some other landlord. So it's not guaranteed. And then you end up, number five, you buy negative cash flow property, overly expensive, and then you take a mortgage. That's the most dangerous thing. You get into trouble in a recession. Yeah, right? So you don't want to do that, yeah? So let's go to the next slide, Eugene. So my story, quick one, just it's not to gloat, but okay. I was lucky that in 2006 I bought the oldest possible property. I bought for 388,000 on the left hand side, and my down payment was only 80,000. But in Singapore, there's this thing called collective sale on block. If you are able to see it on block, right, you manage to get it, you are very lucky. So that is where my first close to $1 million came from. Yeah. So then the second one that I bought, actually this is the third one that I bought, was in Orchard, and it's 970,000. They're looking for uh collective sale right now. Okay, I bought for 970,000 in CCR. The valuation is now about 1.8 to 2 million. If we go collective sale, it will be more. Okay, next slide, please. So here's the thing. I went to the UK to in London there, and I started to buy my first apartment. This is an old apartment by the river. I paid 272. Today is valued at 450. The down payment I paid was only 20,000. The valuation jumped, and I asked for a remortgage. I took out all my money. Next is I bought in Tinggalpa in Brisbane. Have you ever even heard about Tinggalpa, right? This is a landed property. And bought at 390 and I sold at 620. Down payment was only 80,000, 21% return away. Okay. Anybody want to guess what is the valuation of this Brisbane property today? I sold it in 2021 at 620. Anybody want to put a number? No. Okay. Next slide. Next, I went to UK. I bought a corner terrace at 130. Today, value at 216, 31% return. I went to UK again. I bought in Reading, 529,000. Today, value at 560 or more. Okay, 23% return. All of them beat the S&P 500. Next slide, please. So I 10x my money. I think with a down payment of close to over the years, I probably pocketed about uh I put in about total close to 1 mil, and then I 5x my money in about 10 years. Okay, five times my money. So pretty happy with it. Next slide, please. This is a very busy slide. I just want to tell you that in London, even when I bought this apartment, the return is 41% per year. Next slide, please. So I bought this corner terrace. Notice the condition of it. It looks old and ugly. All right, but it's a corner terrace. So whenever I buy something, I look out for something that's a little bit special. A corner terrace or semi-detached is better than a terrace, inter-terrace, because there's land and there's lighting at the side and there's parking space. So tip number one is that have some off-street parking where the car can go up the ramp. That is better than not. Next slide, please. So I renovated to a good standard. You can see it's suitable for Airbnb, and it was offered at 175,000 by a contractor that did my work, but I didn't want to buy it. Next slide, please. I didn't want to sell it. So the busy slide right at the end, look at this. Year 2021 is valued at about 230. I took out money, almost all my money is out. Okay, so imagine I buy 130, now it's 230. It's nice. Okay, slightly positive cash flow. So return is roughly about 100 to 200% internal rate of return. Next slide, please. So we are offering a membership and community journey that it is we are actually this is okay. We realize that if you you sign up for a course, you probably cannot finish the course. So we wanted to make it like something that is a membership, like mentorship. Okay, we are mentoring you. So number one, joining a membership is that you learn to value properties the right way. Okay, and then the thing is that you can make profit from the first year that you buy and then learn to buy under a joint venture structure, but not the Singaporean way lah. So I mean, developed countries where you learn to structure the company, but we will guide you through the whole thing. Structure the company, how to buy under the right structure that's tax efficient. Okay, we mentor you. So learn to find a cash flow positive property so you can keep going without increasing your risk. Identify the right cities that can guide you, free refresher webinars to keep you going, free physical. So when you join, it's not just buying a course, it's actually a forever mentorship to be part of our inner circle. And then you have free webinars that we conduct refreshers every physical meetup every 2 months. And then we will actually run through the course uh, once a year. So then there'll be Josh, Eugene, and I to guide you through the whole thing. So you can grow your capital 100,000 to 2 million in 10 years, so it helps you to grow. So property is a numbers game. We need mentors to guide us through. If you take wrong course, it's very tough. You could go down the wrong rabbit hole and then realize that it's something wrong. So next slide, please. Okay, so picture us like this, how to tell you, um, like a physical trainer, yeah, like a physical trainer. Like I said, uh, it is we are actually like someone there. I mean, not the one on the right, but on the left, the guy that actually trains you to uh to be fit, and we are constantly there to guide you through the whole thing. Yeah, yeah. So it's a lifetime member. Next slide, please. Okay, there is something wrong in my video. Too many things, too many apps turn on, so I can't turn on my video. Okay, so now next, just make do. You don't have to look at my face. Not very handsome. So the thing is, uh, I just give you a tip. Whenever you whenever you choose a country, I tell you the cost lah. Very simple. My thinking. When you choose a country to invest, ask yourself one thing. Can the country give you a mortgage? Now, if the country cannot give you a mortgage, then why do you want to buy properties in that country? Like, for example, Vietnam. Yeah, I know Philippines. Wow, fantastic. But cannot give you a mortgage. Why do you just buy the ETF? Easier, press a button, that's it, right? So um, ask yourself, okay, and if you are in that country and you need help, you get into legal problem, you need to kick out the landlord, tenant, sorry, not landlord, tenant. Is the police clean? Will they do their job? Do you have to bribe the officer to do things? These are the thing, rule of law. Then after that, you drill down to the city. Is a city growing? Is the population growing? A lot of people ask me about Japan. Tokyo, population is shrinking. The only thing that's working is tourism. So you should buy a hotel room or buy a house and do Airbnb. Now, then after you zoom down, what city to choose, and then go down uh to the city and then zoom down to the area. What area do you buy near? Okay. After that, what type of house to buy? Okay, so let's go down now. Let's go down to the next slide. Yeah, Eugene. So I give you some, yeah, Daniel, yes, to get started 100K, yes, 100K in US dollar or Sing dollar. I think about that, you can get a small house. Okay, so which cities to choose, right? This is example of Manchester, okay? It has a lot of data. Now you see, right, the average return for detached house is 6.3%. Average return for semi-detached is 6.3. Terrace house is 6.9. Apartment is 5.5. All is 6.28. That means E&O is the only one that can give you all four asset class. You want an apartment, you can. For Airbnb is useful. You want terrace, if you really want to go for the best capital gains, is either terrace, semi-detached or detached. Okay, next slide, please. Now, then you ask yourself, oh, but is it very liquid? Is it very liquid? Now, look at the median. How many days does it take to sell? And you notice that the easiest to sell is 100,000 pounds and below, but of course, the cheaper, the easiest, right? The hardest is 87 days for over a million. So don't go and buy these two. Sorry, don't go and buy 87 days. Go and buy somewhere between 1 million pounds and under 100,000. But I tell you, 100,000 is a problem. So let's go on to the next slide, please. I show you the data. So if you want to go to Philippines, be my guest. You want to go to Thailand, do you have all this data? How many days does it take to sell? I know that people buy properties in Thailand, cannot sell. So let me show you this. What are the number of bedrooms that you should be buying? Two bedroom, 37 days. Is it very liquid? Yeah. 3 bedrooms, 31 days. Wow, that's the best. 4 bedrooms, 40, 5 bedrooms, 50. So what should we be buying? To me, it's 3, 4, and 5 rooms. 2 bedroom and 1 bedroom, too many investors. And I tell you, there's a shortage of 3, 4, 5 bedrooms. Okay, there is the trend. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so next story. I want to tell you, property land appreciate, property depreciates. The building depreciates. Building always depreciate. So on top is a picture of Hong Kong. Below is a picture of Melbourne low density apartment. Which one do you think will appreciate faster? Up or down? Up or down? Prices for guessing. Is it? Now, if you look at the example on the left, the table, in the old project, there is low density. Now, if the building is worth 100 million, usually the land appreciates as much as the the land is equal to the valuation of the, what do you call it? The land is one third, the building is one third of the valuation. Okay. So 100 million, 100 million, for example, building 100, land 100, total 200. A new project, because they built a lot of buildings. So in the end, the building is very high. So 200 million worth of the building, land is only 100 because it's high density. So 300. At the end of 10 years, the building depreciate by 20%, and the land has double in value. So total is 280. So on the left-hand side, low density is 40%. Whereas the high density project, the building actually depreciate to 160, land appreciate double in value. So the total is 360. The appreciation is only half. So at the end of the day, my question is that where do you see, what should you be buying? Next slide, please. Okay, so where should you be buying? So one of the steps that you go within the city, where do you buy? Generally, research has shown nearest to primary school, the top primary school is the best. That's number one. Number two, you should be near uh hospitals or lifestyle. Okay, like beach, great. The prices tend to be good, or near places of employment. So that's where you should be. Next slide, please. So we are very attractively priced. You know that there are some property classes, that courses that charges 20,000 pounds, but we don't do that. Okay, we various Singapore courses, they don't even teach you IRR, MPV, don't do data analysis, and then they charge 2 to 4,000. So it's different. So property is very exclusive. It's very hard to come by. So next slide, please. So our next slide, please. We have a program to help you to invest wisely. So the thing is that I made money with B4 property. I think I started with 200K and I close to 3 million. Okay, 12 years. So I didn't make money from selling courses. I have a team to help you buy below market value. We are prepared to mentor you. It's not a one-off thing. It's a lifetime membership, I repeat. So with properties, if you can buy below market value or buy the right asset class, buy a landed property, you can make 15 to 50% a year. So I teach you how to forecast capital growth and integrate them in the financial model. Okay. So next slide, please. Okay, so don't go into a course just buying off-plan property. Yes, off-plan is suitable for, I would say Airbnb is very suitable for off-plan. Okay, so I would say that Airbnb, people like new apartments, and in colder countries, yeah, and also for security like KL, okay, yeah, fine. off-plan property is useful, or at least a condo lah. That doesn't have to be off-plan. So, but be careful when you buy off-plan, it can be very expensive. So we have stock direct to UK where the developer doesn't come to Singapore. So there's a lot of marketing costs that are removed, and we are able to buy you at market value. Okay, apartments. The other thing is unsaid rules that pros never want to tell you is that mortgage with a local bank is very important. You need to have access to mortgage. And it's important to ensure that the title is good. There are many countries where you buy already, you even have problems with the title of the property, which is horrendous. And and why you should buy from the local bank, borrow from the local bank is because, um, to be honest, the local bank they will be more, because the lawyer is facing the local bank. The lawyer tend to be more honest with the valuation and all that. So if you cannot get a bank mortgage, there's something wrong with the property. Okay, next slide, please. So the cost is this: how to build a multi-million dollar property portfolio so that you can achieve financial freedom and have great abundance. So next slide, please. So we teach you the 7 steps: country, city analysis, area, the type of property you should buy, value, how to value the property, calculate the annualized returns, and then interpret data. Okay, how to minimize risk. Next slide, please. So we will go through all the parts of the investing cycle. I think the slides, you can zoom, you can scroll through the slides quickly, because we are not going to go through everything, but learn financial freedom, why, through real estate, basic principles of property investing. Next slide, please. Lesson 3 is how to do the B4R properly. Lesson 4 is what type of tenants to look out for. Lesson 4 is how to do real estate market research. This is very important. How to make sure that you know that the city will grow. Lesson 5 is it a good deal? How to analyze the numbers. How to value a property so that you don't overpay. Next slide, please. And then how to close a deal. Lesson 6. How to find motivated sellers. Lesson 7. How to finance the money. Lesson 8. Next slide, please. Refurbishment to force capital appreciation. Lesson 9. Designing a financial freedom plan. Okay, what next? How to motivate yourself. Lesson 10. Set yourself an action plan. You must take action. And that's the thing that will change you. Next slide, please. So, our deal is scan this. 45% off. Is a lifetime mentorship. It is really is really loss leader lah. We don't make money from this. It is actually to join and pay for the expenses that we have. We don't make much money, but it's a lifetime mentorship. We enjoy meeting people every 2 months. We also have webinars, so it's 45% off. Now it's at 763.4. It ends on the 16th November. Scan this QR code and to get the answer, to get that, to sign up now. So next slide, please. Okay, so these are the Google reviews from clients. We bought over 60 properties for clients, so it's all been doing well. I don't think anybody has lost money, man. So just now, if Mike told us, is there capital guarantee? No, it is not. Of course not. Because you are buying a property, anything can happen, but we minimize the risk. Our track record is pretty good. I don't think anybody lost money. When you come for the next bi-monthly meeting, you'll see all the other students there. It's a community. Okay, every 2 months you'll be invited to attend some of them, and then you can get to meet them. We are very open and transparent. Okay, all our clients, our students are there. Next slide, please. Yeah. So, okay, before I jump to Eugene, I share with you, allow me to share with you one slide. I want to show you this video that I wanted to do, but it is I have not. Do you know that Blackstone is buying up UK homes? Now, the smart money is Blackstone. You know, they buy landed properties. Why are they doing this? Because they see an opportunity and the rental yield is very good. So you can watch this, put in a chat group. Now, whenever in 2009, in 2009, Blackstone and I think Goldman Sachs, they actually went to buy single family homes in the US. And after that, the US property market just skyrocket. So I just tell you that right now, you are hearing all the negative news about UK, about Western country, whatever. Oh, Singapore is the best. But I'm not saying Singapore is no good. You should buy your house in Singapore. But after that, you're only stuck there. What else can you buy? A shop house where the rental yield is 1 2%. Then can you mortgage? Very dangerous. Industrial property with 30 years left. Then who are you going to sell to? So I think the next best thing is to move overseas. And the course will mentor you that. If you have question about Singapore property, I also can guide you because I've worked with many famous property teachers in Singapore. I do have the contacts to help you as well. So by all means, I'm like MMA and UFC mixed martial arts. I know karate, kung fu, Muay Thai. So if I don't know the answer, I will steer you to the right people to guide you through. Okay, that is what community and mentorship is for. Okay, so continue to engage. Thank you very much. I'll pass you to Eugene now.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you again. Thanks everyone for your uh attention as well. So far, any questions? Meanwhile, we have answered most of the questions as well. Or else I will go on. Okay, my name is Eugene. I am in the project management field. Okay, I am also having a side business of a flooring epoxy. Okay, I'm also based in Singapore, so anyone that is based in Singapore, feel free to meet us as well if you need to know more on E&O or property courses or even how do you grow wealth. This is my mom on the one in red, and this is myself. 2019. This is Mr. Hager. I learned it through Rich Dad Poor Dad. So Elite itself is also one of the, I would say, company itself that was set up by Robert Kiyosaki. I learned it through Rich Dad Poor Dad, and after which I did my first investment in 2020. So I currently own two, with two other JVs with Jeff and Josh. Okay, so I invested about 160. Currently is about giving me about 1,004 per month, and this is about 10.5% annual. Okay, so property is giving me this opportunity to reach financial freedom. Yes, I have not met my 10 in 10, but I'm there pushing forward to reach out and get my next couple of you. Okay, so very quick, humble story of mine. I mean, I was in the shipyard industry for a decade. I'm in engineering company now for coming 5 years. And what you will do is basically UNH is also one example where the CEO got killed a couple of months back. And when you drop dead or you are out of it, basically within a week or so, the HR will find someone else to replace you. So ultimately, do you actually have a job security? And given now AI is all coming in, question next is your job repetitive? It is, then yes. Even DBS, one of the basically the chairman or CEO was also challenged by their board itself to say, can AI eventually replace her as well? Okay, so this is my mom. A couple of years back, she was having stroke. So because of this, I think time and family is something that I don't want to lose. So time cannot be regained, cannot be bought by money. So money is important, but I think time and family is equally important. Okay, next one is inflation. Inflation is something that is there to stay, and we have encountered it in the recent years, especially post-COVID, and prices has shot up the roof, not just on properties, but everything. Expenses has all went up as well. So the quick thing will be more to, if you have seen across the UK market or any of the property markets, even in Singapore as well, inflation is there to stay, and ultimately it will continue to rise. Okay, the important aspect is to really build a passive income while you don't need it, you don't know when you need it. Okay. AI again, yes, you have seen across what have AI done across to many others improving life as well. But because of that, that will eventually segregate the world into two kind of different people. One is asset owners or investors who will continue collecting rents, collecting income, or investing, or you get dividend or whichever. Or the second one is you will continue getting working, but you have to continue to look at, I mean, report to work, whichever. Yes, you may like your job, but the question next is, can you do this at age 70? Can you do this at age 80? Can you do this at age 90? So how long will you live? We do not know. So ultimately, if you get something yourself, you get time freedom, which is why it's important. The second part is also when you get time to freedom, if things happen within the family or whichever, you are actually able to be there for them as well. Okay, so in the I mean I read off the book ESBI. This is also one of the book which I quoted, which I I myself trust a lot, and this is also one of the book that actually turned life around for myself. Okay, so in E and I or ENS basically, most of people over here exchange time for money, including myself now. So what I'm trying to build now is basically having BNI. Okay, I bought a business, but I'm still in the S aspect, trying to make it big to become a B. But I'm also employed, but I'm going to throw away this job eventually, and I'm pushing it forward to become an I as well as a B. Okay. So again, how to invest in limited funds. One of the slides that Jeff have highlighted is really how do you buy if you do not have a lot of funds. I only put in 50K Sing dollars. Yeah, of course I don't have sufficient back then in when I was age 30. So I only save up. I'm willing to put in 50 in case I lost everything. I know that okay, this is the max I will lose. Okay. After which I borrowed from my mom, my cousin, and this is basically other people's money. So, but however, you must make sure that you actually guarantee or give them a personal guarantor itself that you return them the fees or the money that you borrowed. Okay. The cost wise, honestly speaking, if you look at what Jeff is actually charging as close to what I paid, 36,000 Sing. Of course, I went to the UK. I met off the people I went for courses and so ultimately they do not handhold you all the way until you get your own property. They only tell you the direction to go to and who to go to. That's about it. After they set up a company, that's it. And after the 5 days of course, that's it. Yeah, so the obligation ends. So you are the one that have to drive through. Because I put in a hefty amount of money, that's why I insisted to push through until I reach off at least buying one or two properties. Yeah, but having two properties isn't sufficient itself to make yourself financial free. Yeah, I mean the mentor of what Jeff is having 10 out of 10. So that's really what I'm looking at. Okay. So of course, after borrowing funds itself, important aspect is also getting the house renting out. Okay. This buy I will share the valuation a little later. And I buy this one for only 123K. Okay, this is a three-story high terrace house. Okay, so if you look at the condition is when this is during the renovation. So we hack off a lot of things, we get the right planning permission, we ultimately get this reno done. I think it's about 60 plus K pounds. And this is what we turn into. Okay, a very hefty, challenging job, especially when this was done during the COVID days. When one worker get COVID, you got to halt the job for another 1 2 weeks. Then another one get COVID, you got to halt the job another 2 weeks. So this is pretty challenging during that time, but eventually after 5 6 months, we get this whole renovation done. Okay, so the next house that I bought is in Manchester. This is somewhere very near the university as well as the city center. Okay, this condition is pretty in a very good shape in fact, so I didn't did much to actually do major refurb. Okay, what I did was really change out the carpet, get it painted, put in the furnitures, and voila, this is basically what it looks like. So even the toilets, we didn't did up anything. Yeah, except for just checking the pipes. Yeah, and making sure that everything is running okay. Okay, so in terms of numbers, I'm a number person. So the first one was actually the one that you see in Nottinghamshire. This was as of 22nd of March 2022, where I did a forced appreciation. So these numbers may change after years of like 3 years now. So when I actually get a new valuation in another 1.5 years time, I'll probably know what's the new valuation thereafter. Okay, so important aspect is the first valuation gave me only 165K. But going back to the same lender, After 6 months later, they gave me 245K. Why? The important aspect is who is your mortgage broker, who do you know, and how do you get the valuation right? Okay, I did without by thinking that I want to save a bit of cost. I went to another external mortgage broker. But after which, when I get into this situation, Jeff tell me go look for the other guy that he uses. Then after which, my valuation changed after 6 months. So it is the network that you actually have and the people that we users that will tell you you get things right the first time and not doing taking you as the test bed or not making sure that you step onto the wrong I would say the wrong hole itself, then realizing it after you had to do a couple of works itself to get it done right. Okay, in order so basically over here this cash flow me for about 950 to 1002. You may question why in a HMO itself, most of the amount is coming from your rental income is coming from the different rooms. And with the different rooms itself, of course, the next one you have to pay is your utility, your rental, in terms of the letting agents. And after paying everything, you get home about 950. Why 950,000 too? Because during winter time, we get a slightly lower rental because of the higher utility rates, especially when there was then the Russian war. Okay, but things are a lot better now as compared to the initial Russia war. Okay, of course, the next house is over here. I easily force appreciate. I didn't really force appreciate. I'll say because of demand itself. This is only bought about a year and a half, I would say. But you can see that valuation is already up itself, basing on recent buy prices around the area. Yeah, you can just go to Rightmove, Zoopla. You can see this houses itself where I bought at 220, 290K, excluding all the stamp duty or whichever. You actually can find this at about 330 at the current moment. So I left four students and four rooms, and these deals get stuck about 110. And you realize that actually this takes a much longer years. Why 4 years compared to 21 years? But over here, what we're trying to do is basically after the interest drops in a couple more months or years, okay, what we do is basically my current interest at 7.79, so I'm paying a hell lot of amount to my mortgage lender. So I can easily switch product once either I terminate or I can actually ask in terms of changing product thereafter after my lock-in period. So if I can get my interest at about 4.5%, okay, this will easily drop down to 800 plus, and this will give me a net cash flow of about £1,000, and this reduce this by easily half. So there's many methods itself, and this can be easily locked down for the next 5 years once you get the right interest. Okay, so there's some golden rules I personally will ensure, just like how Jeff did and shared. Okay, make your money when you buy the property. So you need to find undervalued property, which is what Josh and us are able to do it. Okay, so we buy undervalued property, we know how to force appreciate property prices or manipulate the prices up by reach out to us, we'll share with you how when you're together with us, we'll share with you what do we do in order to push up prices, just like how I did. Okay. Be safe and legal, make sure that you actually have all the right documentation and do not take any shortcut. Okay, do not take shortcut because if you do not have the right legals and you think that you want to outplay and outsmart the system, very unlikely. Okay, by only demand important is where the government is rejuvenating the city or the area that's important, or where jobs are, where population growth are, where MNCs are investing into. That's important. Okay, no demand basically no when you got no demand, you got lots of supply, you will only be in a state where you have to force your rental income downwards in order for you to get your house rented out, which is not what you want. Okay. Multiple exit strategy is important. This I can't explain further. Just like my HMO itself, can I do social housing? Can I do many other strategies? Can we do even Airbnb? Yes, I can. Okay, so ultimately it's important to know what are the different strategies you can do in order to reduce risk. Okay, and the last one you really want to do is to really sell the property because you need to. Okay, follow where the money is important as well. Follow where again, partly also similar to what the government is putting where the money is, where they are putting investment is. If you know that there's also incoming, upcoming plan itself to share in terms of the maybe a new hospital or whichever that's going to be built up. Yes, that's where you want to follow and where you want to buy your next few properties. Lastly, you need to take action. There's no action taken, basically you are back to square one. Nothing happens. Yeah, so ask yourself the why. The why is important. I myself have my own dream board and look at it, stare at it every day. Spend a couple of minutes looking at it, understand. I also put a note on my mirror and I explain to myself every day when I brush my teeth. I understand, okay, this is what I want to get into, and this will just drill into your mind, and you will just strive towards your goals. Okay, so I cannot elaborate further. Basically, this is going to in the next 3 days itself, only for 763. So when I when I spent 36,000 to get education only, I think if you ever come this opportunity, I will easily grab off. And how much will you burn actually? So yeah, take action now. And if you got any other questions, please reach out. Let us know how can we support you, or if you want, book a one-to-one call with us. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. At the meantime, we'll give you a bit of bonus as well. So once you sign up yourself, we definitely give you the DCF calculator, the IRR calculator. Okay. This will be able to allow you to actually download this and you understand how do we calculate as well. Okay, we have lifetime access to our community as well. This is I will say, look at this important itself. When you get investing itself is quite boring when you're doing it alone. And when you actually have people with you, or at least like-minded investors with you, which we do have, these are important where you face challenges. Sometimes you can exchange numbers or whichever, and we don't restrict that as well. Okay, during our gathering. Okay, of course, the ebook will be given to you as well. Okay, and they give you how do we actually do the B4R strategy. Okay, next is of course the deal flows. Yeah, the deal flows itself will let you show you what are the different deals that is incoming and what are the different strategies that you can look at. There are many deal flows thereafter, and we can address this together with Josh and myself, where we can bring you to the next portfolio builder service. Okay, only for the next 10 people, okay, you will receive invitation again for the portfolio builder next meeting you were to sign up. Okay. And lastly, you can scan across your checklist or investment checklist. I leave this for a minute. Anyone want to scan, please do the scanning now. You can actually look at your free property investment checklist over here. There's 7 different steps. Okay. I will put this. Anyone still scanning? Okay. Next. Again, follow us on our social media. Look at E&O property investment. You will be able to find us on YouTube and Instagram, Facebook. Okay, so before we move further, we are opening this up to also a 30 minutes strategy call in case you would like to understand a bit more taxes, information, yeah, anything that you want to ask. How do we invest? How do we get the money over? How do we make sure that the money is safe? Yeah, how do we ensure that you got the title deed? Yeah, how do you reduce taxes? Yeah, how do you make sure that you are able to pay yourself every month, every year? Yeah, so there are many types of questions. We will share with you a couple of them. Then if you were to join us, we will share with you everything. Any questions?
Yeah, any questions, guys? That you
I have
like
allowed everyone
to
to be able to speak. Yeah. So
okay.
feel free if you want to unmute yourself, raise your hand, questions. Yeah, just ask. Okay. Meanwhile, again, this is the course that we are giving a 45% off now. And we are together with Piranha Profit. Yeah, your best buy.
Hmm.
Mike, any question to you as well? Daniel or well?
Hello, Eugene.
Hi, Mike.
The strategy call is what? 12 a.m., 12:30 ah?
No. Strategy call is only if you meet myself and Josh. We will come to the call. I think we had the call previously as well. So if you need any other inquiries regarding how do you get money out from the deals, how do you actually do, we will share information with you and also how we execute this whole entire process. But of course, we always advocate take on the educational aspect first before you move on, so that at least the learning curve isn't that steep itself and allow you to understand what do we do in order for you to take off this step. But you can do this concurrently to actually learn the educational aspect. Meanwhile, we can also steer you towards how do you actually buy properties.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Any other question? Abdullah, Kian Fong, Chris, John, Stephen, Tamara, Tony, a couple more. Yep. Feel free to ask any questions meanwhile. Or Mike, any other questions for you?
No lah, I have to read first.
Okay.
Dude,
Okay, so without further ado, I think let me again share this slide with you guys. This QR code is the one to enroll into, and you will receive all the bonus together with getting into the community. Okay, after which, not just getting into the community, you will get the educational aspect of it and the information with the different, like what Jeff has shared with you, the different lessons. Once the lessons are done, reach out to us on the executional aspect. The most important is after education, it's important to execute and take action. Yeah, or else again with education, with knowledge, but no action, you are back to square one.
how much capital you need to prepare?
Or for a buy to let itself, we usually look for about 70 to 80K pounds. The buy price is about 200K or 230K for a buy house in UK, 3 bedroom. We only look for deals in Manchester, Derby, Birmingham, and the bigger cities. Yeah, but we don't focus on London because the buy price there is much way higher. Okay, there are other strategies itself that give you up to even £1,000 cash flow after you pay all bills. Give you £1,000 as of today interest rate. So imagine if interest rate drops to 4%, 3% soon, in a couple more, I think months to years. Yeah, I think you will be able to get more than easily £1,000 cash flow per calendar month once you lock down the next 5 years.
May I know
Yeah.
what you mean by leverage?
Leverage, that means
Loan.
we take loans from the mortgage lenders. Just like in Singapore, you take loans from DBS, UOB, OCBC for your own house
So
mortgage.
when you say
Same.
75% leverage means
75% loan to value.
no.
Mm.
That means you take
Each
75% loan.
and you pay 25% plus stamp duty, legals, all the closing costs. Then you have to pay a bit of the mortgage arrangement fee as well. Yeah, the rest of them, if only required for refurbishment, then you put in additional. If you don't, usually houses we got many kinds. When you buy houses, sometimes is a poor condition, but you're able to refurb and bring up to the next higher standard. You're able to pull out more cash. Yeah. But if you're unable to, just buy something that you want hassle-free, buy a secondary market or house that is already tenanted or ready to be tenanted.
But the interest, is it fixed or variable or what? Or is it floating or fixed?
Two kinds. For certain banks, they allow for fixed rate. Certain banks, they allow for floating rate. Yeah.
Pro-
So you can fix down. For mine, I use Hampshire Trust Bank. and we fix that down. For certain other banks itself, they do give floating rates. So it's just like Singapore. Singapore do have both. The good news is you can actually have interest only loans, which doesn't happen in Singapore. Singapore, you need to pay principal and interest. Over there, you can only take interest only. So you don't pay down the principal, but yet you continue to get the highest cash flow.
So what kind of interest are we looking at?
So today day rate today age day and age is about 6%, 6.25, 6.5%. Around this range, 6 to 6.5 today.
So do you normally get a fixed rate or variable or floating?
Yeah, for today day and age, I will suggest you take a 2 years fixed rate first. For variable rates, not necessarily all the banks will give. Unless you're able to loan up to 500K, we do actually have direct banks that is willing to loan with variable rates. And with variable rates, I think you're paying about 6.25 as of today. So when rates drops in early next year, Bank of England is a bit different, so they may not and follow exactly when the world interest rate drops. They will follow the Bank of England instead. Yeah,
So do
so
they
as of today, to 6.5. Sorry, Mike.
no? So do they have a loan term that is that means there's a penalty that or whatever? Huh?
Yeah, so usually it's 2 years or 5 years. Loan period is up to 25 years. So what you do is basically for 2 or 5 years, and you will give you a fixed rate. After that, you have to remortgage or you take a new product again. If you don't take a new product, you'll be based on a floating rate.
Yeah lah, because if the interest get too high, you may want to early redeem or something, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's what is happening for myself at 7.79%. But that was also a good opportunity on the buy price. You realize that we buy it also cheap. So because of limited lenders or limited high interest rate, this deter a lot of investors to start going into the market. That's why you find opportunity as and when. Today we still can find such opportunity, but in the next couple of maybe 1.5, 2 years, it may get too hot to the extent that uh it's not worthwhile getting in the market or you are buying way too high.
yeah lah, because there are some
Generally,
uncertainty issue.
yeah, of course. If you are an investor, right, you got to frame the sooner you get in when things are so bad, it is the time to get in. When's the best time to get into Singapore? 1997, Asian crisis is the end of the world. 2009. The headline news is when the best time to buy is always the worst headline news. If today UK or US or whatever says that, wow, the country has turned around and is doing so well, do you think the property price will still be 200,000? Everybody, mother, father, son will rush in. The prices will be 400,000. That's why we always buy when there's distress. It goes against the grain of human nature, but it is the nature. It's like buying stocks. When Meta is down 50%, everybody's running away. You know, it's the thing that when Hermes handbag is 30% cheaper, people will go and buy. But funnily, for property, when all the bad news is out, where people are fearing. So don't wait until the sooner you realize this is an opportunity. Don't wait until the headline news is over. Then the price will not be the same anymore. It will be a perfect price. Yeah.
But the problem is that I'm afraid sometimes there's a change in government and then they suddenly throw in some cooling measures. Then they send in some rules and then you are stuck, you know. They say you restrict your buyer or
Uh,
restrict what? Then,
no.
huh? No,
No.
they say they can restrict, you know, can only sell to locals or whatever, you know,
No, it has not. That has not been touted, been in the parliament.
because in Australia
So
it's a different story, right? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, Australia is uninvestable for overseas now, lah. That is the thing, you
Mm.
see. I
that's
would
a
have gone
big,
to Australia.
uh,
Yeah.
sometimes they may
So it's
throw
not.
in some cooling measures, then we are stuck again. I mean, that's what I'm afraid.
But you must always remember you are buying the best asset class, which is a landed. You think about it, even when you are, let's say you're in Australia. I bought a house in Australia. Now I went in before the rules came out. Then later they say that I can only sell to locals. Well, I bought a landed and I still double up in value. Even if you buy in a condo that nobody wants, even if Australia didn't come out with this rule that you must sell to local, you can't get rid of it anyway, right?
Mm.
You can't get rid of it because the locals won't, they don't want to buy condos. It's different. It's very different.
Mm.
Because the security in UK is better. In Malaysia, I can understand half the people don't like to live in landed because the gated community is not even safe. Some people tell me even the Gurkha guards they are afraid of the guards. So they prefer condo. But half the people prefer to stay landed in KL. I
Mm.
don't know lah. I mean, like basically UK, the security is not as bad as the US.
Mm.
I have not got a house broken in before.
Mm.
So it's a bit of framing of your mind, lah. Like Ukraine, I tell you, if today Ukraine gives me a mortgage, I'll be in Ukraine buying already. Because by the way, until the war ends, the property price jumped 30%. I have a client that went to Iraq right after US invaded Iraq. He made $30 million because they had no factory to produce food. He went in there and developed the properties and he sold it. He made $30 million in 5 years.
Mm.
So we have to frame ourselves like, yeah, the headline news is there to serve us. Yeah.
Mm. So, i- normally, is there a good bank to lend money?
There are a
We
few
got a
banks, so if you don't want to rely
yeah.
on one. There are quite a few good banks. Yeah.
Mm.
Depending on your number one strategy, some of them like social housing they differ away from. Number two is also depending on your income. If you are a self employee or are you actually a employer? Yeah, oh, sorry, are you actually an employee or actually a entrepreneur? So it's also quite different in terms of the documents that you submit as well. And certain people will give or certain banks will ask for certain documents. As long as you're able to fulfill no problem having, especially we are Singaporeans.
The other thing I'm quite surprised is that you just say that there can be a different valuation, right? I mean, which can differ by quite a lot, is it? Because it's depend on the valuer, is it?
The valuer plays an important part, but important aspect is just now I was sharing in my own deal itself. Important is understanding how you actually get commercial valuation. But why this part, I shared across for how I get 245. The initial understanding was this was based on a valuation that is residential brick and mortar. So brick and mortar is basing on, okay, look, the house itself is, I only bought the house for 123K, but I pushed this up and I spent close to 100K for renovation planning, mortgage, stamp duty, etc. So I put in total almost 220K. Get 220K, of course, when you get this valuation itself, I'm up about 20%. So this forced appreciation, I bought 123, but I get 245K. Why? Because I get a commercial valuation basing on my rental income. This rental income gives me 2006 per month. Minus away all fees or whichever, you still get back home about £1,000. Yeah. So this deal, you ask me, yeah, pretty good deal. Important aspect is really to know who are your correct valuer. Okay. And also this is the same bank. And Social Trust Bank is the same bank. I went for the first application, the second application, I went back to them after the 6 months of duration or the cool-off period when the valuation is no longer valid. So you just have to know who to go to in terms of the valuer or in terms of the mortgage broker. Yeah, and we do have the right people in order to advise you correctly.
No, but what I'm saying is that what happens if there's two or more valuer who gives a different valuation, then will there
That
be
there will be
yeah?
only one. There will be only one. They will have a panel list over there. You just choose from the panel list. The question now is, do you know who to choose out of the 10 panelists that they actually have? Do you know who to choose? That's the question. That's where it makes a difference getting a correct mortgage lender, and they will probably make some calls to the valuation companies to verify how they do valuation. Then you start doing it. Or else what may happen is you may get into the wrong hands of the valuer, then they base on the brick and mortar to actually value. But if you're buying only a residential terrace house or whichever, just like the one I buy on the second one, it will just based on the next 1/4 mile to do a valuation. So the 1/4 mile, you won't go wrong. If you buy at 290 and the price there is about 290, you will still get a roughly around the buy price. You will not come back and say that, oh, because you buy at 290, they value it at 300 or 350. No. Basing on today day and age, you buy at this price, they will usually agree on this price. Whereas it's different when you actually have a 6-bed HMO and more, okay, or a house of multiple occupancy, they do not have a like-for-like comparison. Just like now you buy a landed side by side, But if you actually have, example, two HDB within the same unit itself, are you able to actually do a valuation like for like? The answer is actually not really easily found, or because it's not common. Yeah. So they base on what to value, they base on rental income to do the valuation. How to answer your question?
Yeah lah, that's why I was thinking. But let's say if next time you want to sell the property, and then we get the valuation, but what happened? The buyer also get another valuation, that which is different. Then you get me?
Yeah, nevertheless, important aspect is they base on valuation based on rental income. Or
Hmm.
else if you are not buying, you are buying a normal brick and mortar kind of like terrace house, semi-detached, for a normal strategy, a buy to let strategy, you will never go wrong. It is basically what is beside you and what's the last sold price within the same street. That one won't go wrong. But the
This
question is if you buy, yeah. Yes, Mike.
no, because I don't know whether is there any like the URA, they always publish the past transaction, all these things. Do they have the same thing in you?
Yes.
Huh? They have.
Yes, they do have.
Yeah lah, then at
They
least we
do
got
have
something to
right.
fall back.
Yeah, in right move. So, that's why you won't go wrong for your normal brick and mortar. You won't go wrong. It's
Yeah lah, we
very
must
hard
have
for
some.
them to Yeah, it's very hard for them to just go down and say that, okay, this house you bought at 290, or now after 10 years, this is valued at 400, for example, or 450, for example. So the house beside you or the house on the same street is selling around the same price at the same square feet or square meter. They're selling around the same price. Unless your condition of the house is so bad that inside is not really livable, then yes, you will likely get a haircut because you have to factor in renovation costs.
Hmm.
Okay, apart from that, your brick and mortar, very hard to go wrong. Very, very hard to go wrong. Because all the valuers use the same method. And how do you go wrong?
Yeah lah, but
Yeah.
I suppose.
Unless,
I suppose if there's a past transaction which is quite recent or what, right? I mean, what happens if
yeah.
there's no recent transaction?
Or then they look at the next 1/4, instead of 1/4 mile, they look at the half a mile.
Hmm.
Yeah. And if you look at that itself, very unlikely, basing on UK stock price and availability, very unlikely, especially if you buy in big cities. Especially you
Hmm.
buy in big cities. The market flow is very, very
Oh,
liquid.
you saw the liquidity, right? Number of days it takes to sell is
Yeah.
faster than Singapore.
Oh, yes,
So we
man.
don't 30 something days to sell. Singapore comes
Yeah.
sometimes it can take 6 months. Of course, you buy an apartment, it takes a lot longer lah. Yeah.
Hmm. So if you look at this, on
I think the
average,
next slide
this
better.
wait,
No, next.
this one. This one.
Next one,
So
next
you look
one,
at
next one.
this,
Next slide,
this
yeah.
one. Sorry, yeah. So you look at this terrace house, on average, they're based on 700 and almost 800. The mean time selling is 65 days. The medium time selling is only 27 days, 1 month. Yeah, terrace house is 33 days.
So
Detached is slightly longer. Flat is the worst.
sorry, so
Yes, Mike.
do they have something like Singapore like that? Buyer and seller stamp duty, all this thing, and then
It's only the buyer stamp duty, no seller stamp duty for now.
yeah lah, they got ABSD, whatever the huh?
Nope.
There is additional stamp duty. Yes, 2% for foreign investors. 2% above
Selling,
what the
there's no
local pay.
restriction, selling, huh?
Selling
No.
no restriction, but you have to pay tax. However, there are many ways to legally reduce tax.
Hmm.
Mm.
Thanks. No lah, just hope they don't suddenly change the rules and then,
For the last 5.5 years, for myself in the UK market, apart from Brexit, is quite okay in terms of that aspect. Yeah, so my rental income has not really reduced, in fact, increased across the whole COVID period. I used to only get 2002. I push up about 400 this couple of years. Mm. Can
It's
check with Jeff. Yeah.
huh? Sorry?
Yeah, you can check with Jeff. Jeff, he's in the market longer than me. In the UK market,
13
not very
years.
longer than
No, I think developed country, that's why I said I don't know why Singaporeans, and I mean well, Singaporeans like to buy Philippines, Bali, Japan. Japan, I know you like to go there, relax, but don't get your emotions mixed with investment. Investing is investing. The food nice, but the population is shrinking. I so Bali is even worse. Go in, cannot get out. You know the town planning is ridiculous. Cannot get a bank loan. Thailand foreigners cannot get it. I don't know why. Most developed countries, I would have loved Japan. Is a developed country, rule of law, but the population is shrinking. Most developed countries have continuation of policy because it's democratic and it's developed. There's a rule of law. So I give you an example, even in terms of human rights and protection of investor, I think UK is ahead of Singapore. Do you know that Singapore, there's no such thing as a, I tell you how backward Singapore is. Have you ever heard that Singaporeans have always been defrauded in investment scam and there's no way they can get back money? And do you know why the courts are unable to do it or unwilling to do it? Because the lawyers here earn there is no such thing as no win, no fee, and there is no class action suit. A class action suit allows more investors to band up together and hire one lawyer to represent them. So you repeatedly see scams. Now in UK, I have ever invested long ago, unfortunately, a hotel room. The developer went bust. And the money we paid 40% of the deposit. We didn't get a hotel. Do you know that a lawyer came to us and get us together in a class action suit and sue the developer, and they claim back more than 40% deposit, 70% we got back, including opportunity cost. So if you know the legal channels, compare that to Malaysia, since how many condo buildings are uncompleted? And has anybody won a lawsuit in that country when you are defrauded or the developer went bust? Then you ask yourself whether you can settle down and invest in that country. If you try that in Thailand, in Philippines, sorry, I don't think you're going to get a single cent back. I'm a very careful person. So I ever thought about all this. And I can tell you US and UK are probably the only countries you can, and also Japan. But Japan, the population is shrinking. That's the problem. And Singapore.
Sorry, you mean Singapore don't have class action suit?
Nope. Try doing it together. That's why a lot of people lost into scam. The nickel fund, how many, you go and Google nickel fund and Envision, and then they lately is the guy that appear on Netflix and collect all the money. What's his name? Uh, Evergrande or something like that. Private credit. He just went bankrupt, disappears. Every day is on the papers. The only time that justice is done is
Yeah, lah, that's why I'm surprised why Singapore like that later. Huh?
You ask the Singapore law soc lor.
Yeah, lah, because Singapore is it backward or what? You get me?
There are, this is a recorded line, lah, but there are forces out there. It's just like why you ask why Singapore is so advanced, right? Why our medicine is always 5 times more expensive than Malaysia. There are certain lobbying groups that are very powerful, lah.
Yeah, lor, even the medical suit also don't have that. You cannot win.
You cannot win, lah. Yeah, you
Yeah,
cannot
lor.
win, lah. No doctor will testify another doctor, lah. Yeah.
Yeah, lah, let's say
So
you find, ayo, doctor negligent also cannot sue, leh.
cannot win, lah. Very hard to win.
Yeah, lor. That's terrible,
It's
right?
getting better. I would say Singapore is a very well-run country, but there are still imperfection. So I want to say that I'm not saying Singapore is bad. I still love Singapore to be a good place to stay. But I think, let me put it this way, lah. Where else can you buy a landed property that is freehold? And then you own the property outright. You can get a mortgage. And it's only worth less than a HDB flat. 400,000 Sing only. You can buy one. Even US today is 1 million US, one single family home.
Mm.
So it's really, really, this is the only thing. Even Malaysians cannot believe it when I just came back from KL. Oh, it's even cheaper than a landed property in Malaysia. They were stunned, man. But this window will not last for long. As soon as the country, the Labour Party steps down, there is because the news is so bad, it cannot get any worse. Imagine they do something right, and the interest rate come down, the property price will fly. It's been like that for a while.
Mm.
So Eugene, you don't mind you go back to the last part, you go back to the slides on the Manchester property price trend. I just share with you openly. Okay, for you look at the pattern of the property price appreciation. Another 2 slides. Here. The trend of UK property price. This is just Manchester. It's very similar. It's more stable than Singapore, no? In 2005, it did not come down. You look at the green line, detached line. But property price in UK generally go up. There is a 20-year phase where they keep going up. After that, there's a 10-year phase that they go sideways. After 20-year phase, 1995 to 05, 10 years, sorry, 10 year. After that, it stops for 10 years. 05 to 15. After that, it jumped another 10 years, 15 to 25. So now we are in a stable phase, you see. In the very stable, that is where I'll be collecting. Because the headline news is terrible, I'm going to take advantage of it. The country has been around for over 1,000 years. It'll still be around. It's how they go and navigate out of the current difficulty. In fact, you draw the trend line from 1950 until now, you'll be surprised. I think better than Singapore price appreciation. You can Google on your own also to verify all this data. Yeah. In fact, 6.9% return per year on capital appreciation is as better than Singapore's condo.
You know, where do you find all this data?
You just Google. This one came from home.co.uk. I put it in the chat group, home.co.uk. These are all data from you see another thing, Mike. Developed countries collect a lot of data on transaction, price transparency. This is where I'm very comfortable. So if you go to a third world country, the agent will tell you this was you don't have data of when it was sold. What is the last price? Then if you don't know what you paid for and everything is hidden cloak and dagger, how are you going to make a right decision? So developed country produce data like number of days to sell. I can't even find the data in Singapore, no? How many days on average does it take to sell? If you don't have data, how are you going to make the best decision?
So you mean this is from the government agent or what?
Yeah, government ONS. US also collects a lot of data, number of days it takes to sell. When you attend the course, we will tell you where to get all this data, verified data. You even go zoom in right down to your neighbors, what kind of income based on tax reporting, what kind of income you live area is this place. A lot of things. Yeah, transparency. You compare that to many of the Asian countries, you just buy blind. You just follow all the foreigners buying the area. It's really not a smart thing to do. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, any other question? If not, we can wrap up lah. Huh?
Yeah,
Okay,
Mike,
thanks.
you actually you have I think chat group with us, so feel free to reach out to us in terms of the questions or whichever. Let us know. Yeah, we can support you any other question you have. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
yeah, the last point, anyone who want to join us, please take on the opportunity now before the offer ends on the 16th. You'll go back to 2003 or based on Piranha. And Piranha numbers is not something we can control. Yeah, it's Adam's team.
Yeah, I mean, this is really a loss leader. We don't really make much money out of this. Like I say, it's a lifetime thing. How do you make money out of it? So eventually, as our group gets bigger, we will have to raise the price, lah. Yeah,
Mm.
because to be honest, we give 6 updates a year, physical meetings. The venue costs money and all that. So it's a very attractive price, very attractive, cheaper than a lot of other things. So we have a team to help you also. We got Eugene, Josh, me. There's a succession plan. There's a bunch of trainers. And then it's a community lah. Yeah. Okay. Uh,
Okay,
all
thank
right
you.
lah. If there's nothing else, thank you all for coming. Have a good
Thank you
evening
for your
ahead
time.
lah. See you again. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks
Okay,
everyone.
thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank
See
you.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.